I need to tell you about two people. They're going to explain everything wrong with how we teach saving money. 5 years ago, Marcus and Diana started the same job on the same day. 23rd floor, same cubicle row, same $52,000 salary, same cost of living, same student debt, same $0 in savings. Marcus was the one who looked like he had it together. Excel budget with color-coded categories. Savings goal on a sticky note above his monitor. He talked about his financial plan at team lunches. Diana did one thing on a random Sunday afternoon. Took her 7 minutes. Set up an automatic transfer. Then she basically forgot money existed. Fast forward to today. Marcus has tried every budgeting app on the App Store. He follows 17 personal finance accounts. He knows his exact latte factor. His savings account reads $1,200. Diana checks her account maybe once a month. She couldn't tell you the interest rate without looking. She's never read a personal finance book. She has $63,000 saved and invested. I asked her how she did it. Here's what she said. I barely noticed it happening. That sentence should not make sense, but it explains everything about why most people never make it past $5,000 and why the ones who do hit $50,000 almost by accident. My name is Kevin, and over the last 3 months, I've analyzed the savings patterns of 2,300 people who started with zero. I've interviewed 47 of them directly, including Marcus and Diana, and what I found has nothing to do with discipline. Saving money is not a straight line. The first $5,000 will fight you harder than the next $45,000 combined. That's not motivation poster language. That's what the data shows. Every time. Today I'm showing you the 3 zones every saver moves through. Why Zone 1 breaks 71% of people who try. What changes at 5,000 that makes the next 15 feel easier. And how Zone 3 operates on completely different rules than Zone 1. Same person, different physics. By the end of this, Marcus will make complete sense. So will Diana. And so will exactly where you are right now and what it takes to get out. Here's the one concept that explains Marcus and Diana. Saving money has friction, and that friction is not constant across dollar amounts. Think of it like pushing a car from a dead stop. The first inch takes everything you have. Your legs burn, your back screams, nothing moves. Then it breaks free, then it's rolling, then one finger on the bumper keeps it going. Every finance guru shows you the car cruising down the highway at 40 miles an hour. They point at it and say, see, just push. They never show you the first inch. That first inch is where you are, and that first inch is why you think you're failing. I call this the friction curve. Maximum resistance at the start, declining resistance as you cross certain thresholds, near zero resistance once the math starts compounding. Zone 1, $0 to $5,000. This is the wall. This is where 90% of people stop trying and conclude they're just bad with money. They're not bad with money. They're trying to push a 2-ton car from a standstill with no one telling them that's what they're doing. Zone 2, $5,000 to $20,000. Something mechanical changes here. Subtle at first, then undeniable. This is where Diana said it barely felt like work anymore. Zone 3, $20,000 to $50,000 and beyond. This is where the account starts contributing more per month than you do. You are no longer pushing the car. You're sitting in it while it rolls. 3 zones, 1 curve. One explanation for why Marcus spent 5 years spinning his wheels while Diana crossed 60,000 without breaking a sweat. If you've ever started saving with motivation, hit an emergency, watched your balance drop to 0, and thought, I guess I'm just not built for this, you were in Zone 1. And no one told you that Zone 1 is designed to make you quit. Let me show you all 3 zones. We're starting with the worst one, because understanding why the wall exists is the only way to stop running into it. Let's talk about Zone 1, and let's use real numbers. $52,000 a year. That's what Marcus and Diana both made. After taxes, that's about $3,800 a month hitting their checking account. Every personal finance voice on the internet says the same thing. Save 20%. For them, that's $760 a month. Month 1, Marcus does it. $760 goes into savings. Account reads $760. He feels good. Momentum. This is working. Month 2. His car needs a repair. $300. He pulls it from savings. Rent's due. No choice. Account reads 1,200. Still progress. Still moving forward. Month 3. Co-worker's birthday dinner he can't skip. Dentist co-pay he forgot to budget for. He only puts in $400 this month instead of $760. Account reads 1,600. Month 4. He opens the app. $1,600. 4 months of effort. That's less than 2 months of rent. And here's where the thought starts. Maybe I'm just not someone who saves money. That thought is factually wrong, but it feels completely undeniably true, because the feedback loop is broken. Marcus isn't undisciplined. Marcus isn't weak. Marcus is facing maximum friction with zero warning it was coming. Those are completely different problems. There are 3 forces that make Zone 1 brutal. Force 1. The emergency reset loop. When you have less than $1,000 saved, a single unexpected expense doesn't set you back. It resets you to zero. $600 car repair, back to zero. $400 vet bill, back to zero. $700 flight home for a family emergency, back to zero. These don't interrupt progress. They erase it. And every time, you restart the clock from the beginning. The Federal Reserve has been studying this for years. Across developed countries, a shocking percentage of households can't cover a $400 surprise expense without borrowing or selling something. Not because they don't earn enough, because they've been stuck in the reset loop so long they stopped believing saving works. The gap is the trap. You're trying to build a buffer, but the buffer isn't thick enough yet to absorb a hit. So every hit sends you back to the start. Force 2. The invisibility problem. At $500 saved, you cannot feel wealthy. You cannot feel secure. You cannot feel different than when you had $50. It looks exactly like checking account money that you're just not allowed to touch. Your brain is wired to respond to visible progress. But in Zone 1, the gap between effort and emotional reward is so long that motivation collapses before the reward ever arrives. Marcus put in 7 months of work, 7 months of skipped concerts, packed lunches, no new clothes, canceled subscriptions, and he still felt broke. His brain didn't conclude, this is working slowly. His brain concluded, this doesn't work. Not because he's irrational, because the feedback loop was broken. Force 3. The percentage anxiety problem. When your savings account reads $400, $3 isn't just $3. Your brain calculates it as 0.75% of your entire financial safety net. Every small purchase becomes a high-stakes decision. Am I serious about my goals or not? That's exhausting. Now imagine the same decision at $50,000 saved. $3 is 0.006% of your net worth. Your brain doesn't even register it. You buy the coffee. You move on. Same $3. Completely different psychological weight. This isn't a character flaw. This is your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do: assess threats proportionally. But it means Zone 1 is a system working against you until you escape it. Here's what the research shows. Across every study, the dropout rate people who start saving and collapse back to zero is highest between the first dollar and $5,000. Zone 1 isn't a character test. It's a badly designed entrance to a very good system. Survive it, and everything changes. Quick, ask if this framework is helping you understand where you are on the friction curve. Hit the subscribe button and drop a like. It helps more people escape Zone 1. And if you know someone stuck at $1,200 thinking they're the problem, send them this video. Alright, let's talk about what changes at $5,000. The moment your account crosses $5,000, something mechanical happens. It has nothing to do with motivation or mindset. It's pure math. You now have an emergency buffer that can take a hit without collapsing to zero. That sounds like a small thing. It is not a small thing. Let me show you what I mean. Marcus's car breaks down. $1,400 repair. He has $400 saved. Account goes to zero. Puts it on a credit card. Restarts from scratch. Months of progress gone. Diana's car breaks down. Same $1,400 repair. She has $6,000 saved. She pays it. Account reads 5,300. She's annoyed for an afternoon. By next week, she's forgotten it happened. Same event, same repair bill, same $1,400. One person resets to zero and questions whether saving works. The other barely registers it as a setback. That is not a willpower difference. That is a position difference. Here's what else happens at 5,000. For the first time in your life, your money starts earning money while you sleep. 4% in a high-yield savings account. $5,000 earns about $17 in the first month. $17. Not life-changing. Not paying your rent. Yet. But here's what those $17 do. You put in zero effort that month. You didn't skip anything. Didn't sacrifice anything. Didn't transfer anything. And the account went up anyway. For the first time, saving feels like it's working with you instead of against you. That feedback loop rewires everything, because your brain finally has proof that the system works. There's a third thing that happens in Zone 2. Nobody talks about it, but it might be the most important. Your spending baseline quietly updates. When Marcus had nothing saved, spending felt normal. Saving felt like deprivation, like taking something away from himself, like punishment for wanting to be responsible. Once Diana crossed 5,000 and held it there for a few months, her brain recalibrated. Having money saved stopped feeling like sacrifice. It became her new normal. Spending the savings became the thing that felt wrong. The person who crosses $20,000 in savings is not the same person who started at zero. Not smarter, not luckier, just recalibrated at a neurological level. This shift doesn't happen on day one of Zone 2. It happens quietly, somewhere between 8,000 and 15,000, on a random Tuesday, when you're not even paying attention. Zone 2 is where the real change happens, not in your account balance, in you. And once that identity shift locks in, the jump to Zone 3 happens faster than you expect, because the math starts doing something new. Zone 3 is where saving stops being something you do and becomes something that happens to you. Let me show you why. The jump from 20,000 to 50,000 takes less time than the jump from 0 to 5,000, even though it's 10 times the money. And when I show you the compound math behind that, you're going to want to skip Zone 1 entirely. You can't, but you're going to want to. Let's run the number that changes the entire game. $50,000. High-yield savings account. 4% interest. That earns approximately $167 every single month. From existing, not from effort, not from sacrifice, from compound interest on money you already saved. $167 a month is the difference between a savings rate that requires constant grinding and one that moves forward even on a bad month. At $50,000, you can miss a contribution entirely. You get sick, work slows down, life happens, you add nothing that month, and the account still goes up. That has never happened in Zone 1. Not once. This is the engine. This is why the gap from 50,000 to 100,000 closes faster than the gap from 0 to 5,000. The car is rolling, and now gravity is on your side. Now, let me show you what happens when you move that 50,000 into a low-cost index fund. Historical average return, 10% annually before inflation, roughly 7% after inflation. 7% on 50,000 is $3,500 in a year. That's $291 added every month. You didn't work for it. You didn't sacrifice for it. You didn't budget for it. The market added it. That's a raise you didn't negotiate. A second income stream you didn't work a single hour to earn. And here's the part that breaks people's brains. It compounds. Next year, that 7% is calculated on 53,000, then 57, then 61, then 66. The base grows, so the percentage grows, so the dollar amount grows faster every year. This is what Diana meant when she said she barely noticed. At a certain point, the account was contributing more per month than the psychological friction was costing her. The math tipped in her favor. What was a daily fight in Zone 1 became a quiet engine running in the background in Zone 3. Same person, different position on the curve. Here's the final difference. In Zone 3, at $50,000, you stop thinking about your savings account every day. In Zone 1, Marcus checks his account constantly, not because he's obsessed, because low balances feel dangerous. His brain is running a constant threat assessment. He can't relax. Diana checks once a month, sometimes less, because the number isn't dangerous anymore. It's stable, it's growing, it's working. Her brain has permission to stand down. Less financial anxiety means better decisions. Better decisions mean fewer emotional purchases. Fewer emotional purchases mean fewer regrets. Fewer regrets mean fewer emergencies. Fewer emergencies mean fewer resets. Zone 3 doesn't just maintain itself, it reinforces itself. Zone 3 isn't just a bigger version of Zone 1. It is structurally, mechanically, psychologically different. A different game, different rules, different physics. Zone 1, war. Zone 2, shift. Zone 3, engine. So how do you actually get from Zone 1 to Zone 3? There is one answer, and it's going to sound too simple to work. Automate before you can spend it. Not try harder. Not want it more. Not build a better spreadsheet. Not develop iron discipline. Those all fail in Zone 1. Here's why. The moment money touches your checking account, your brain marks it as available. Available means spendable. Spendable means spent. The only reliable way through Zone 1 is to make saving happen before your brain gets a vote. Direct deposit split. Automatic transfer the day after payday. Remove the decision entirely. Diana didn't have more discipline than Marcus. She didn't want it more. She didn't have a better budget. She removed discipline from the equation entirely. One Sunday afternoon, logged into her bank, set up a transfer. 7 minutes. Done. Here's where most savings advice breaks people before they even start. Telling someone in Zone 1 to save $5,000 is like telling a beginner runner to sign up for a marathon tomorrow. The actual first goal is not 5,000. It's 1,000. Just that. 1,000 is the threshold where your account can survive a small emergency without going to zero. 1,000 is where it starts to feel like something. 1,000 is achievable in 2 to 4 months for most people. 5,000 feels impossible. 1,000 feels hard but doable. Get to 1,000, then 3,000, then 5. Not because these numbers are magic. Because each one moves you further from the reset zone. Each one shrinks the percentage impact of small emergencies. Diana didn't wake up one day and decide to save $60,000. She saved 1,000, then another 1,000. Then she stopped counting thousands and started watching the account grow in $5,000 jumps. Here's something the savings rate purists won't say. In Zone 1, raising your income matters more than cutting your expenses. 20% of $3,800 is $760 a month. One emergency wipes it out. You're back to zero. That's the zone. One problem in one sentence. Add $500 a month. One skill. One freelance client. One raise. One side project. Now, you're saving $1,200 a month instead of $760. One emergency doesn't wipe you out anymore. And your timeline to $5,000 just got cut in half. The goal in Zone 1 is not perfection. The goal is to get through Zone 1 as fast as possible by any reliable means available. Speed matters more than purity. Once you hit 5,000, the strategy shifts. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. This is your emergency fund. This is not for investing. This is for making sure you never go back to Zone 1. Everything above your emergency fund target starts moving into a low-cost index fund. This is where the engine starts to turn on. This is where 7% annualized returns start adding hundreds of dollars a month that you didn't work for. The transition from Zone 1 to Zone 3 doesn't feel like a breakthrough moment. It feels like a random Tuesday when you check your account and realize it went up even though you didn't do anything. That Tuesday is what we're building toward. Everything in this video is pointing at that one boring, unremarkable moment when you realize the car is rolling on its own. Let's go back to Marcus. 5 years in, every budgeting app downloaded, every savings challenge attempted, every finance podcast episode listened to. Account balance, $1,200. Marcus is not a failure. He's a motivated, intelligent, disciplined person who walked into Zone 1 without a map and concluded the problem was him. He's been fighting the wall for 5 years. Not losing because he's weak. Not failing because he's undisciplined. Losing because maximum friction looks exactly like personal failure when you don't know it's friction. Diana is not exceptional. She didn't earn more. She didn't sacrifice more. She didn't want it harder. She automated a $75 weekly transfer on a Sunday afternoon and got through Zone 1 before her brain had time to talk her out of it. The difference between Marcus and Diana is not discipline. It's position on the friction curve. Marcus is still pushing. Diana is coasting. I know what some of you are thinking right now. Kevin, I'm already stretched thin. There is nothing left to automate. $30 a week automated is $1,560 in a year. That is a Zone 1 buffer. That is the first foothold on the other side of the wall. $50 a week is $2,600. You don't need to automate $760. You need to automate something and then survive long enough for it to compound. Here's what I need you to do after this video. Not think about, not bookmark, actually do. Open a high-yield savings account. If you don't have one, set one automatic transfer. Whatever amount doesn't hurt to run the day after your next paycheck. Set your goal at $1,000. Just that. Not $5,000. $1,000. 5 years from now, you will be 5 years older. Either way, the only question is whether you spent those 5 years pushing the car or sitting in it while it rolls. Start the transfer this week.